Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Heart of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Pi Omega and Greater Germanic Reich. So last time we ended with the Volkssicher Beobachter giving us the news about the Great Conspiracy. So let's read it now and see what it brings. Strange rumors have arisen from the depths of Japanese-occupied China. Following the arrest of Nanjing-aligned General Sun Dianing, rumors of a great conspiracy have spread like wildfire. A conspiracy involving the long-lost former leader of the Yumtong, Dai Li. The Chinese countryside is gripping with terror, as Dai Li was famously noted for his brutality during the Chiang Kai-shek years. Tokyo, however, has refused to comment or acknowledge the Dai Li situation, calling it an imperialist misdirection or Pan-Asian harmony, or an anti-Nippon conspiracy. I like that. Imperialist misdirection of a Pan-Asian harmony. That's some Soviet-level propaganda. Anti-Nippon conspiracy. There are rumors, however, of the conspiracy being linked to the highest echelons of Japanese military intelligence, and only time will reveal whether it is true. Perhaps it might be true. Well, I truly wonder if Japan is going to lose their clutches on China, because we've had some uprisings before in this playthrough, and I find it kind of hard to imagine that Japan would be controlling all of this area as they are right now, even through collaboration regimes. It's insane. There must be 1 billion people in this area, while Japan can have 150 million at this point? I don't know. It's still a bit weird to think of them being subjugated this bad. I mean, they lost the Philippines, and that was with backing of the United States, so we'll see. I wonder if we're gonna see some development in this area. Anyway, as far as we are concerned, our economy is not doing all that hot. We have a really high inflation, which is putting a dent into our plan to lower the deficit. But alas, what can we do? We're also having a bit of an issue with dismantling the Reichswerke, which we can do once we lower... I mean, we need the middle class investment one more time and we can dismantle them. And then it's all about IG Farben. So, however, we're gonna focus on that after we finish the naval tree. We are... Wait, where's the naval tree? Down here. Yep. So we're finishing the... we're finishing the in their hands. That's future. Future? Future in their hands. Okay, so we are not working on the naval tree right now. Sorry, it was a few days since I last recorded. Future in their hands is part of the Stabsitzung tree, where we are taking a bit more of the national debt on ourselves, but Poland, Ukrainian National Republic, Militarbezirk Russon, and one other. Oh yeah, I remember, we don't know whether that is the Ostlandliga or Kaukasische Militärregierung, but they're getting a 0.6 increase in their GDP growth, and then we can go either with the Guiding Hand or Firm Chain. Guiding Hand would give us access to some of their resources, but we would incur 0.75 billion in debt. But they get another GDP growth of 0.55. Oh my god, then we get another 1.5 billion in debt. But they get administrative offices, increase immigration, and then Volksaktien. For us, our GDP growth increased by 2.5 or 1.5. We will spend 3 billion. Oh my god. 750. That's 1.15. 2.65. Wow, 5.65. Made in Germany. Well, this one is good, but my god. Jesus, game. You really are laying the debt on us, aren't you? There really isn't much that I could lower here. Thanks for population stability, security. I'm thinking we might actually have to go through the military reform here, which is going to lower the amount of money that we're paying. Wait, it's down here for the here. It's gonna lower our division limit to 65 and then down to 50. I think I saw 50 somewhere. Let me see, 50, was it here? Oh yeah, we will finish downsizing the Wehrmacht. Final division limit will be 50. Which is really fun. Oh, dang, okay. More production units for us, please. So what are we gonna go with next? Let's give ourselves a bit of a breather and go with Atlantic naval exercises. It's gonna, fortunately, increase our inflation a bit, but or something else. I mean, I would really like it if we could give ourselves a bit of a rest and let the debt to GDP drop even more. Titan Inter-Branch Cooperation. Land of the Rising Sun, end to autarchy. With the congressional style, the truth will set us free. Well, these ones are not. Okay, we're dismantling our nuclear arsenal, that's awesome. City of Angels, the city that never sleeps. Wiping our hands clean. And a dine. Okay, this one is good. That one decreases interest rate, increases GDP. Okay, let's go through the political tree next. That's gonna be fairly fast. And frankly, I think that we might have to start downsizing the army ourselves. Because we're paying an exorbitant amount for army and navy now. And that's really not good. So let's start with the anti-autarky. Our great Führer Adolf Hitler once set our fatherland on a course to pursue the fulfillment of self-sufficiency, and now that this course has led us nowhere, it is time for us to change it. Our new Führer, Speer, has decided that it is time to try opening trade with the rest of the world, especially the Americans. If there is one way out of the never-ending race to achieve wealth for our people, this is it, and we must try our best to keep on it. So we get 100 political power, and regime stability increases by 2.5%, and we get an event, the meeting. Okay, but let's start looking at the navy. I think that we should really do some hard choices here and get rid of some of the older ships. The corvettes. Yeah, I think we can get rid of these. Okay, 106, 105 and 104. So let's disband those. 103 as well. Yep, those are just torpedo attack ships. We'll need to get more of them, but we'll need to get ones that have depth charges, because torpedoes are great and all, but it's not so good. Okay, you are the old Zerstörers. Let's leave those be. What about you? Frigates. Do have some depth charges. But do we have some better ones here? Because I don't think our destroyers have what it takes. Nope, they don't. Old K-class cruiser Köln. Torpedo attack, armor. Well, this one has been upgraded recently, but I think we might just say goodbye. Yep. Let's dismantle that one. What about you guys? You have some really old destroyers here, so we're gonna phase these ones out. Because those are really old. I'm gonna be getting some refurbished ones soon. Leipzig class, torpedo and a bit of depth charge. And these 7. Heavy attack, heavy piercing. Well, we'll keep these intact for now. How much of an impact did that have? Not at all. Cool. Submarines, step 20, 21. What's the difference? These are surface detection and visibility. Visibility, surface detection. You are almost the same. What's the difference? What is the difference here? No difference. So why are you... That's 20 to 21. What is the difference then? Confused. 21. Nothing. There's literally no difference. Okay, so let's get rid of 2 of these subs. I'm gonna retire them because they are very aged. Still no difference? Still no difference. Okay, well, never mind then. The inevitable. Glasses clinked together as Ludwig Erhardt and Helmut Schmidt sat together in one of Germania's finest restaurants. Of course, one that had less obvious Nazi imagery, as both men found that it would lower their appetite and give them a low sense of unease. But now they were here, Erhardt drinking a small glass with strong alcohol, while Schmidt was more modest, deciding on some wine instead. With a pleasant sigh, the Minister of the Economy spoke. The resignation trick works every time. Really, I wasn't expecting him to be so asinine about it. It's like I was asking him to instate elections. Schmidt let out a short laugh. No, God no. If it was like that, I think he'd ask you to resign instead. Erhardt himself chuckled, and would have reached for a cigar had that not been allowed in the restaurant. I suppose, however, that you can tell me more details about this plan of yours, Schmidt asked, prompting Erhardt to sober up a little and listen to what the foreign minister had to say. Yes, Erhardt began nodding. It's quite simple. It's just that the plan will take a long time to implement. I'm aiming for Germany's colonies to industrialize sufficiently, you see, Schmidt nodded. If we want them to stand as partners, they can't be so reliant on the old home that any economic crisis would have... If we want them to stand as partners, they can't be so reliant on the old home that any economic crisis would make them buckle and crack, just as it happened in the 50s. Instead, you're going to, with my help, turn all of these colonies into shining, rich jewels, not on par with Germany itself, but at least enough to be a little self-sufficient. Schmidt nodded again, this time more clearly satisfied. A smile graced his lips as he spoke. But what of the consequences? What if they demand independence? We'll give it to them, Erhardt stated flatly. Eventually. If Speer isn't a fool, he'll let us build the base to feasibly stop exploiting them. If he's a fool, however, Erhardt sighed. No need to worry about hypotheticals. Another drink, Helmut? We finished the national focus entity autarky and got the meeting. It was rare that official letters were passed between their governments, usually restricted to under-the-table negotiations when they communicated at all. This situation called for an open hand, however, and a letter penned by an articulate one. The Führer lowered the paper and set his gaze on its author, who stood before his desk. Reichsminister Helmut Schmidt had shown eagerness at the prospect of reaching out to the Americans. The letter was good, stately, but not too domineering. Eloquent, but not flowery. The letter was not the question. The Americans may have sent arms back when he was directing mobs of students, but now he was at the helm of the ship. Who knew what they would want? I'm sure I don't need to impress upon you the importance of this summit. You don't. The Americans want things to cool down just as much as we do. They'll have their demands, but I don't think they'll be unreasonable with our country's history of walking out of negotiations. Schmidt gave a bitter smile. Give them what they want, I suppose. Speer glared at the telephone as if anticipating its angry ring later. Just be reasonable. Of course, mein Führer. So an end to autarky is done. A meeting in the dark. The Führer is interested in setting a meeting with the proper discretion, of course, with the American ambassador. Why he seeks this is not entirely known to us, but if we believe in him, it is surely to find a way to lift the embargo their country established against the fatherland. Let's make sure it goes well, and carefully. Get political power of 50 and meeting in the dark event. And Harold Wilson re-elected as Prime Minister. We do have more, okay. The Socialist Labour Party of England has retained their majority in Parliament. Harold Wilson proclaimed that his second term would be focused on addressing the five giants: want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness, outlined by the long-forgotten Beveridge Report. Maintenance of the country's closeness with the Olafan was also stressed by the government. Wilson then touted? Not sure, never heard this word before, touted his recent achievements. Probably like shown, claiming the English economy was stronger than ever, with workers enjoying well-paying jobs that treated them well. Reginald Birch, leader of the hardliner faction of the SLP, was noted to be absent. Reports suggest Birch and his followers were expelled from the party after a rousing speech by Wilson himself, and so the SLP for now stand united in delivering their vision to England. The red flag still flies here. Well, sure it does. Well, okay. What are we gonna do with our armies? That is a question that we should look into. I mean, we're paying excessively for them. Oh, hey! The GDP growth has increased. I guess that's good. But the debt to GDP has also increased. Okay, naval expenditure started dropping slightly. So you guys are minelayers and minesweepers. Okay, I have an idea. If we designed our own new modern minelayers, I could probably disband these 6 ships and in favor of, say, 6 altogether. Would that work? They have minelaying 1, so if we build, for example, let me see, search store 1965. If we remove this and instead gave you the minelaying rails, okay, and instead anti-ship missiles and anti-air missiles. Do we have anything else here that we could upgrade? No, White Badger 2, Torpedo Launcher 2. Okay, so this would work. This could be our mine layer. Cost 1670, has a bit of a light attack, but a decent heavy attack and heavy piercing. Torpedo attack is not that bad, and anti-air is also increased, though in fact it's a decrease because we are having only 1 anti-air missile compartment. Instead we had, I think, 2 anti-air guns. But mine laying is up to 3. So let's call this Mine-Laying Destroyer 1968. Okay, let's duplicate this because I don't want that one to be... yeah, we're gonna stop producing you and instead start working on the Mine-Laying Destroyers. And we're gonna build 6. Okay, we're starting to clear out some of the older other ships. We'll have to get... I mean... Wait, what? We have an improved destroyer here. You're not supposed to be there. You are supposed to be over here. And you guys are supposed to be drilling. Now for the army reform. Well, we will eventually have to start downsizing the Wehrmacht. So... And that is the most expensive part of our budget at this point. So what if we started by shaving off... That would be 2 divisions from each of the armies. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 12 divisions. I'm gonna keep the motorized and tanks intact. Same with the special forces, but we can start with this. So you guys... well... We fortunately here. Well, okay, let's get rid of... Let's get rid of 2 divisions for each of the infantry armies. Yep. Guys. And then 2 here. 2 here. We can always retrain them if we need them. Okay, let's disband you. So that's 12 division. That should save us some money. 13.49 billion. We'll see how much we're gonna get for this. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Six divisions. Well, we'll see. We'll see what you can do. Not sure what you guys are doing here. You're moving around, but you were probably drilling as well. You guys are still drilling, so that's fine. Well, okay, at least we get 1.7% difference between the expenses and the income. That is decent. Meeting in the dark. The truth will set us free. Conference. Meeting in the dark. Schmidt took a deep breath. This was big. Really damn big. He could not, under any circumstances, put simply, fuck it up. The Americans had actually afforded Germany an opportunity to reach out, and he would damn well take it with open arms. As he sat down with the American ambassador, he could notice that he was an older man who seemed to radiate an aura of joyfulness around him. Not a bad pick, hopefully cooperative. Greetings, his English was sharp, lightly accented. Ambassador Walter C. Dowling, was it? I'm Helmut Schmidt. He gave the man a hand. Pleased to meet you. Who then shook it heartily. A pleasure, Schmidt. A noticeable Georgian accent, but it passed by Schmidt's foreign ears. I'm happy that the Reich's finally reaching out. He gave a short chuckle, getting concerned with that things would get hot. Schmidt shook his head. Not at all, Mr. Dowling. The new regime is quite open to change. Now, this won't be easy. The tension faded into reality. Both of them knew where this conversation had to lead. Dowling gave a short nod. Yes. I hope you've come prepared. The negotiations that the United States has in mind will not be easy to compromise on. Agreeing to this would be a historically unprecedented move, especially considering the Reich's past. Schmidt's expression darkened, but Dowling did not hesitate. Americans always want something. Political power plus 10. Let's go with the truth will set us free. Two choices confront us now. The first choice is to be honest about our fatherland. Our Führer may want to not hold back on how we really are faring, and so he may tell the Americans that he would come to the table with no secrets, seeking the best out of the terms they may offer. The other one is to keep our secrets close to us. We lie to the Americans and hope that they won't believe it. We only have to take one choice, and honestly might be the best policy. And honesty. Okay, we only have to take one choice, and honesty might be the best policy. And night to remember. Well, both of these lead to the same thing, pretty much. Okay, well, let's go with the truthful set us free. Actually, let's just read this one for comparison. We face a fork in the road, two simple choices. Tell the Americans the truth about our country, or we can lie to them. If we lie, we must make it realistic. We must present ourselves strong, and while speaking the truth would be great, it might benefit them more than us. After all, it's natural to lie, but it's hard to tell the truth, and while it would set us free, would that give us money? Okay, let's go with the truth will set us free. The darkness from the east. The Gestapo serving in the Eastern Reichskommissariats have reported a suspicious number of incidents. Nothing major has happened, but there has been far too many incidents of civilians accidentally stumbling into secure areas, plans and documents disappearing, and strangers appearing in towns unannounced for this to be all a coincidence. Someone is planning something, and our Gestapo are tearing their hair out trying to understand what's going on. Those we arrest are either innocent of wrongdoing or hardened infiltrators that can hold up under difficult interrogations. The locals seems to know nothing of what's going on either, and no amount of threats of collective punishment or preemptive raids have turned up any information whatsoever on the anomalous activity. The only conclusion we can draw is that a foreign organization is moving into the territory, but who they are or what they're planning is anyone's guess. Put local forces on high alert. We don't need to know who they are to be able to stop them. Well, that's the spirit. So Reichswerke, middle class, and antitrust, and dismantle. And goodbye Reichswerke. Next stop, IG Farben. Okay, let's seize their corporate assets. Oh, and that's about it. We don't have... I don't want to rake up more debt than necessary. Okay, well, looky, that actually lowered our expenses by near $1 billion. No, about 700,000. But that's a decent draw. So we might want to continue with that down the line. Well, I mean, we'll be forced to. We will be forced to, but for now this is... Let's focus on the Navy. Okay, so we get another improved destroyer. There's quite a lot of them. Okay, we get some of the cruisers here. Hansa, Brunderbrock and Friedrich Karl, so we can assign them to the main fleet. Which means... Okay, that we have enough of the newer cruisers here to start phasing out the old ones. So we have a K-class, K-class, and K-class. 3 of these. Torpedo and light attack. Do we want to save them somewhere? You get a heavy attack and a heavy piercing. Well, you guys have light attack and torpedo attack. These older Zerstörers have massive light attack, but yeah, I think we're gonna disband all of these older destroyers and put the... Okay, let's separate it. These are the oldest ships that we have. 1944. They are nearly 24 years old. So let's just disband them all and assign the old cruisers there instead. Reichswerke dismantled. Edmund Gellenberg entered the top office in the Reichswirtschaft Ministerium as one enters his home. As head of the largest state-owned industrial conglomerate in the Reich, he held more power in his hands than the entire ministry put together. Inside that office, however, was someone who would reverse the roles once and for all. Reichsminister, came Gellenberg's polite, if a bit haughty salute. Wirtschaftsführer was Ludwig Erhardt's equally polite and equally haughty answer. I'm sure you already know the reason for your summon. You have too many contacts within my ministry to feign ignorance. Erhardt immediately went to the point. Gellenberg nodded, distaste evident in his face, and that was enough. In light of the new economic policy, Reichswerke is to be dismantled and its constituent companies restored as independent actors within a free market. Gellenberg had known the day would come, and for a moment his face contorted in anger. He was losing his power, his position, everything he had worked for during and after the war. However, he knew his position. He was no ups, but a functionary put there by the government to oversee a state-owned company. I understand. I will obey my orders, was his only answer, anger replaced by defeat. Erhardt nodded curtly. Part of him had hoped for a bit more resistance, but Gellenberg was no fool. He was already calculating how to cut his losses, and by giving his acceptance, he had already secured his first point. The minister wasn't keen on doing this, but appearances needed to be saved. Thank you. For your service to the Reich, you will be assigned as chairman to one of the new companies. I'm sure you will keep working hard for the good of the nation. Gellenberg nodded, his face neutral. Then the two shook hands, and the former Verwirtschaftsführer left Erhardt's office. Another conglomerate ended. So we get 75 political power, regime stability increases by 10%, slightly increases industrial regulations effectiveness, Poland and Ukrainian National Republic, Militarbezirk Russland and 4 others slightly increase industrial regulations, token regulations, policy effectiveness, and their poverty rates begins to improve, and so will ours. And we get the truth serum. So, I think this is a good place to end it. Actually, no, you know what? Let's finish the month so that we know where we are with economy. The deficit is 5.84% now. Real GDP growth is 7.71. So we can expect the debt to drop slightly. But I want to see also our poverty. We're gonna drop below 50% soon. It's really nice. We're almost at minus 0.4 per month. It's really good. Really good. How long will this one take? Conference 14 days, 7 days, 21 days. So a couple of months. 7, 14, 7, 7, 14, and 14. But this is gonna be really good. The trade will increase, which is really good. And here we go, 1st of August. So, 83.3, okay, well, the euro deficit is fine. Okay, during the next month we're gonna drop below 50% on the poverty, that's good. And we get some new production units, so let's put them onto construction and be happy. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.